Okay, game number one, AceAL or AceAL or Ace versus Mercury, merry-go-round LE, PVZ. This is going to be a fairly interesting match, all things considered. Both of these players are actually fairly high level. They don't have their ranks up there. Mercury's former Masters, Ace is former Diamond. I'm just going to call him Ace from now on because my reflexes are like, that's an AI, that's an AL, even though it's not correct. But, yep. It's pretty high level PVZ that we're going to see here. Yeah, Printf actually got to Masters recently, so he's now another one. In the top right of the map here on merry-go-round, it is our purple Protoss player, Mercury. In the bottom left of the map, we have his opponent in the pink, sporting the Zerg pieces. Blackberry's AceAL. Now, if that sounds familiar and that logo looks familiar, he is, in fact, I believe, the captain of the Blackberry team that played in the AHGL. They actually got casted by Day 9. And that's some pretty interesting matches, if I recall. Definitely worth checking out. Their little logo that you can see back here on their on the hatchery is kind of a pun of sorts. Blackberry, quite literally. And so far, nothing of interest to note. Both players are behaving pretty normally. Mercury's chrono boosting his probes, keeping him in his base. He's put a pylon in his base, so no crazy cannon rushing or anything, at least not in the short term. You might go for the natural, though. It's always possible. Ace is not picking up an early pull. Oh, wait, yes he is. That's an 11 pull. That's actually the timing that's used for a Baneling bust. And the thing is, if he's doing this, it makes a lot of sense on this particular map. If Mercury does go for the typical expansion-based play, you can see this piece of debris that exists on the ramp in merry-go-round. Even though I can't click on it right now, it actually has 400 HP, which is the exact amount that a pylon carries. And it doesn't have recharging shields on top of that. So this little location right here is actually a vulnerability in a wall that you can always exploit with a Baneling bust. Not to mention that the ramp itself is fairly large in general, so covering this entire space with a lot of buildings to try and protect it is quite difficult. So in the meantime, we have a Forge coming down from Mercury after going Nexus first. He's going for a very aggressive, economically, I guess, passive style of play here. This is going to fit very well into what AceAI is doing. We'll probably see him continue to pick up gas into... Oh, okay, not Baneling Bust, but a Roach Horn. So I guess it's the same timing used for that. Well, alright, this is a good way of opening up a play. You'll notice that most Zergs by now will have expanded already. It's already past the 3-minute mark. These two Lings are pretty much here to try and prevent that little piece of scouting for the probe. Probe did maybe get close enough to pick up on what was going on over there. Queen's already in play now, and he really should be pretty suspicious over what he just saw, because he pulled a drone in addition to the Queen, in addition to the Lings, to shut down the scouting of the probe. So he wanted to make sure that whatever was going on was not scouted at all. In the meantime, Mercury has kind of picked up on what's happening. He's put a photon cannon in his main base to help protect his probes, and is grabbing a gas. So, not making any attempt to wall off down here in the low ground. In fact, it looks like he might be anticipating Ling aggression, but that's not quite what's going to be coming out here. In the very least, this attack from Ace will more than likely actually kill off just the natural and start doing damage beyond that. Two Lings already in play, going to go after these probes. They're just hanging around the natural. Can't really micro that in this situation, so he's going to pull them out of there, try and get them back up to the high ground, or just run them away. Interesting. Hide them around the map. Roach is moving out across the map now. It's a 7 Roach push. Actually, I think this hits on this particular map at about the same time as the Baneling one does, so... Definitely looks like Mercury is more or less familiar with this kind of thing, though. I don't know if the setup's actually going to work so great for him. This setup, he can actually just perch the Roaches out here and start picking off buildings, and I think once enough goes down, he's just not going to have any real ability to deal with it. Cannon went down, is going to be taken out pretty quickly by these Roaches, and he's gonna go from here into the main base? Nope, it looks like he's just gonna work on the natural. Nope, he's got an expansion coming home on the back behind this. So he wants to do some damage that would allow him to get economically ahead in this. Going for the cannon first, it's the only real form of defense here. There is a potential photon overcharge waiting in the future. It's not quite out just yet. Good micro on the Roach, keeping that alive. It's gonna kill the Zealot momentarily as well. If he hangs around by the gateway, he's gonna be able to take out the Stalker pretty easily, and now he's pretty much denying mining at this location. He's going to start picking away at probes and whatever else he gets hands on. Stalker may be about to come out shortly, but it looks like he's... yeah, he does get the Stalker out. Not going to get a second dose, shutting down the gateway, Corona boosting, and the resources that went into the gateway not really going to be able to work so great there. And it looks like from here, Ace is going to set up to just take out the natural, make sure that's taken out of play, and then go for a third. Okay. So pretty much with going for that third there, all he really needs to do is keep enough army resources to deal with a counter push that Mercury might be able to put together. And then from here, just photon overcharge, forcing the Roaches back out this base. If he can actually secure this, he will be in pretty decent shape going forward. He still needs to get something together though. I mean, right now he's pretty far behind where he wants to be in terms of tech, in terms of gas picked up. There really isn't a lot to work with here. Picking up +1. And probably a couple gateways on top of this. Build up a counter push. And back home we have 12 Lings and 3 more Roaches coming out. So he's not moving back into the economy stage just yet, only using this base for the additional production. And the attack has been cleaned up by Mercury. There's no additional photon overcharge though. So this next wave of units will probably take care of the natural pretty quickly. At best he can have maybe another... yeah, he's really shelling up in his main base. He can have maybe a Zealot or a Stalker out, but... yeah, this force is going to be immediately pushed out. I don't even think the Stalker's going to get away. It's probably going to die immediately. Nope, he's going to actually survive. He's going to bring it up by the cannons. Once he's done that, he can just focus down the natural from there. Which is a pretty big... it's going to be a pretty big problem for Mercury going forward from here. The economy of AceAL is now going to be capable of just sprinting forward. But he's going to run up into the main base just to see what his opponent's doing. He's going to see 2 more gateways building. He sees an additional cannon that's been put up. Really nicely, nice defense layout. Doesn't know about the 4th gateway, but really at this point, that's kind of the only thing that Mercury can really do well. He can try to push his way up into DTs or Oracles, but it takes enough time that Ace should be pretty well defended against a lot of that. So 4 gate should be what he's expecting here. He's going to push the 3 Roaches away, but I'm going to try and double back to kill the Stalker. Not really going to be able to do more than shield damage, though. Nice control from Mercury, keeping that guy as long as alive as long as he has. Drone saturation now existing on the natural. Working on the 3rd base. And still putting the pressure on Mercury in the process. So I think I'd be a little bit happier with Ace's position right now if he had taken most of those units that he used to kill the natural and simply brought them back home. I understand running up to scout, but losing all those Roaches and Lings does maybe give Mercury a little hope here, where if he can get enough of an army supply together, he might be able to push over and do some damage to him. But it looks like Mercury's just going to opt for the completely defensive route with sentries. This is an extremely dangerous position for a Protoss against a Zerg, because the Zerg is now entering the ability to mass, kind of like just do the quick tech switches against you. Build a lot of Roaches, and then build a go for the Spire on the back of that, and you can pick one thing and kind of deal with it. Like this kind of deals with a lot of Lings and Roaches, a lot of force fields, a lot of the ability to cut the army up. It's good for defense. But if Ace just goes for Mutalisks from here, these are incredibly bad in that situation because they move really, really slowly, so he's going to have very little ability to actually defend his base. A lot of cannons back here, though, which will help. It's just, it's going to keep him running back and forth. They will find something to kill. Cannons can't cover everything. Not to mention there's now a move out. The expansion attempt has been discovered. Oh, nice little burrowed Ling in the middle of the base, too. Roaches trying to get the jump on the army. Just sort of moving them into the army, though. Good force fields, chopping them in half. Good positioning on the Zealots. Nice burrow, keep the Roaches alive. And this is just an incredibly brutal thing to deal with. He does not have any detection. And he's pretty far from being able to get it. He's put down a Robo just now. But at least in the short term, these roaches are going to be able to do a lot of damage against this army. So again, the force fields go down. Not paying too close attention to the roaches, though. Not burrowing them as they get damage. Instead, choosing to flank from the back with the roaches from earlier. And he's pretty much able to kill the remaining sentries. And without those force fields, the zealots are going to get picked apart. The army is now down. And if we take a look at the economy here for both players, we can see AceAL basically tripling the mineral income of the Protoss until... Okay, just a moment ago. But definitely has a base ahead in that. He's getting a lot more gas income. And what is his next choice of tech? It looks like it just wants to build a lot of roaches, get upgrades, and push up into hive tech. So we have an infestation pick going down along with another hatchery. Could be for swarm hosts, could be to move up into ultras, we'll see. But this army alone may actually be maybe kind of a big problem. I don't think that this army from Mercury can kill this. And as time goes on, these upgrades are going to kick in. A photon overcharge, there's one more left in the mothership core though, so he can delay this for a while. This is enough of a small force that a photon overcharge is incredibly deadly to it. Oh, hey Zero, good to see you, buddy. So attack attempt here from Ace is rebuffed pretty nicely with some good force fields from Mercury. But at this point, again, Ace's biggest strength is just the fact that he had the third so much quicker than his opponent. Ah, Locus. So Swarm Host is going to be the choice from our Zerg player, and I think this is actually really good in this situation because there isn't really much that the Protoss can do about it. He's on a very economically tight position, and gateway units do not trade at all well against Swarm Hosts unless you have a ton of Stalkers and you can blink on top of the Swarm Hosts. This Immortal is going to do nothing to that army. If anything, this maybe will give him the ability to push out in the short term and maybe do some damage to this Roach Ball, but once the Swarm Hosts come out on the back of that, it's going to be pretty tough to deal with. Protection now exists for Mercury. He could make a move forward, try to use his force fields to bait out a burrow, and then actually get a lot of free kills against this Zerg army here. But again, this is going to deal with the short term. It's not going to deal with the long term. It's not going to deal with the next army composition that's coming out. And it looks like Robotics Bay, so Colossus Tech is the choice from Mercury here, and he's going to go for a Warp Prism for some Zealot drops to try and even things up. This could do it. This could be what he needs to make this happen. But there's a really nicely placed Overseer here, and he'll be able to pick up on this Warp Prism leaving the base immediately and get defenses up right away. So as long as Ace is actually paying attention to his mini-map, he should be in good shape here. Force Field's going down, trying to trap the roaches, but unfortunately Lings move up and they've smashed the army up against a wall, and I really don't think Mercury has anything against this now. He's going to lose pretty much everything. He's put down the Photon Overcharge, but there's too many roaches. Loses the next Immortal immediately, and lol, says Mercury. GG. Beast mode. Ooh. Always the manner guy. Mercury.